Hey guys, going into the last round of a Battle for Zendikar draft. Hopefully we can win. We lost in round 2, won in round 1. Our deck seems pretty good on the whole. Its biggest problem is mana, which is a real problem. We could have used some more Evolving Wilds or something like that. But we would like to play first. And we actually got a hand that has all of our colors, which we like, and a Herald of Kozilek, which we also like, and Exert Influence, and a not turn 1 Sledge Crawler, but we'll play him on turn 2, which is not bad. So that's a pretty good hand. One of the better ones we've seen. For sure. We've only cast Exert Influence once, and while it had an impact on the game, it wasn't huge. Having it in my opening hand in this game, assuming we actually get to 5 lands, probably means it will end up being pretty big in this game. All right, Conduit of Ruin, happy to see that. We'll drop our Sludge Crawler. And then we'll play a mountain. Next turn we'll play our Herald of Kozilek. Alright, we're going to get to ingest something. Yeah, we'd still play our Herald, I think, before we play Malakir Familiar. Breaker of Armies. So we may be up against a ramp deck, which I haven't been able to draft myself at all yet in this format, which is kind of crazy. I think I would only force myself into it if I opened like Ulamog, and I haven't done that yet, so that's probably why I haven't. So next turn we probably play Malakir Familiar. If we draw a couple lands, we have Conduit of Ruin mana, which would be nice. Not to mention Exert Influence mana, so that would also be nice. We also have Swarm Surge, which only costs 2 right now. So once we get our Conduit and our Malakir Familiar out there, it'll be pretty tempting. Okay, well, he opted for a Clutch of Currents on us. Trying to slow us down, and he is. I think I actually play the Sky Spawner now. Though if I play Herald of Kozilek first, Yeah, we're going to play the Sky Spawner. It's much less effective against... Clutch of Currents is much less effective against it, is what I'm trying to say. Also, this is better for a Swarm Surge later down the road. We're closer to having a really potent Storm Surge offensive. So, that seems pretty good to me. Opponent deep in thought over there. Wonder what he's got. Tightening Coils, okay. Annoying. We're drawing like all of our 3-mana spells, which is fine. But we'll get in there. Opponent definitely rocking a control deck. So ramp seems pretty likely, which we don't... I don't love the idea of having to face that, but we'll play Herald of Kozilek here. Touch of the Void only costs 2 once it's in play, so it's relevant. We would definitely like some more lands. We had these 3 in our opening hand and haven't managed to draw another one. All right. So he just keeps the bounce rolling. Okay, there's a land. I can Touch of the Void his land. But I think I'd rather replay Herald of Kozilek. And, we hit a Tide Drifter, which is nice. Replay our Herald, and then we can just block with our Sky Spawner, who's not doing a lot right now. I think getting the damage out here for our Swarm Surge, like Swarm Surge plus Touch of the Void, gets pretty close to killing him right now. So depending on what he does, that may be the move. Blight Herder, pretty gross. We would have liked that in our deck. All right. We can also Exert Influence his land, which is probably what we're going to do. We wouldn't mind another land, so... We need to sack our Scion to do it, but I think it's probably worth it. Okay, well, never mind. We can kill both his creatures right now thanks to the awesomeness that is Herald of Kozilek. So I think we go Titan's Presence, targeting Blight Herder, revealing Conduit of Ruin. And then we will Touch of the Void the other creature, which is a land. And that lets us hold on to Exert Influence for a while longer. We have plenty of cards ingested for our 2 processors, which Conduit of Ruin will find one of. So that's pretty good for us. We have Exert Influence ready to take something with 3 power or less, which is Merc Strider, for example. We probably steal it and then bash again. It's probably what we want to do here. Well, there's our Ruin Processor. He just came to our hand for us. Yeah, I think we go with Exert Influence here. Steal Merc Strider. If he has Sure Strike, I guess he could save his dude, which would be annoying, but it would burn the last card in his hand, and we'd be in good position going forward. Okay. So we bash again. And Swarm Surge is definitely lethal now. Thinks we stole one of his creatures, so. Another card ingested. We do have Ruin Processor in our hand, so it may be relevant. Alright, opponent scooped. Pretty awesome game for us that time, even though we got stuck on 3 lands. We kind of just rolled. Got a removal when we needed it, and we had, a pretty good offensive force out there, and Exert Influence played a big role. I don't think we change anything here. I think it's good as is. Titan's Presence has been pretty legit in this deck. I played it once before, and I wasn't super impressed with it, but I also only drew it once, and it was bad the time I drew it, but that's going to happen with a card like that sometimes. It's definitely better than something like Processor Assault, which is worse most of the time than that is. So, all right, on to game 2. And I think we have another keep. We have a Titan's Presence. We're missing blue, but our deck has more blue than anything, and we have some good late game stuff. Hand's a little slow, but our opponent doesn't have an overly fast deck, so I'm not too concerned. He's going to drop a 1-drop now that I said that. Hedron Blade, pretty good against us. All right, we're going to drop our Looming Spires now. Maybe I shouldn't have, but since it's potentially later, I could have stuff that has a little more action than that. No Mist Processor. Ooh, we need blue now, please. We do have Titan's Presence ready to roll, which will then later activate our Ruin Processor. All right, anticipating. Our opponent does anticipate something. Drawing blue next turn would be just beautiful. We'd get to play Herald and then Oracle and then Conduit. It would be great. The Conduit, unfortunately, can't search for anything, but, I'm not going to complain about already having Ruin Processor in my hand, I don't think. So, all right, we did not draw what we wanted to, so I think we just pass. And we have Titan's Presence ready to roll. Probably can take out anything in his deck except, like, Breaker of Armies, which we did ingest last game. Drawing all of our blue cards. And none of our islands, which we have tons of. But that's, the life of a deck that doesn't have enough Evolving Wilds. We do have the 1 dual land, but that's it. That's our only fixing. So, but blue is our most common color, so having these 2 probably better than not. I'm fine with the Tide Drifter. Doesn't concern me too much. We almost took that. I kind of wish I'd taken it. We can still kill it, so we can kill it with anything in our hand because its power is still so low. Okay, so we drew our Malakir Familiar, and I guess we'll play that. I'm not overly concerned about this 1/6. We'll win that race, so. If we draw blue for Herald of Kozilek, we can then just leave mana up for Titan's Presence too, so it's pretty nice. We've got a lot of blue in our deck, so I think we have 8 blue sources, 28 cards left, so a little less than a little more than a 33% chance we draw blue. And it gets better every time we draw, so. See what our opponent has. We're just going to take 1 here. I mean, if he wants to swing. Yeah, I didn't think he would. Okay, our opponent also having mana problems, and we just drew more black, so we're with you, but we do have 2 cards that are colorless and don't really care, so 3 actually. All 3 of our colorless cards are in our hand. All right, we're going to drop our Mortuary Mire, because if we draw a land... Oh, we can play Conduit of Ruin for sure next turn, and then play Ruin Processor as well. I'd kind of like to hold off until I can Titan's Presence something, too. And maybe I do that on his Tide Drifter just so I can gain life. Wouldn't be too bad to gain life. Wouldn't be awesome either, though, right now. Right, Tightening Coils, sure. Bring down the Malakir Familiar. Do I want to exile Tide Drifter? Use my only removal spell on it? No. And as tempting as it is, I don't want to. There's blue. All right. That's what I wanted. That's all I was asking for, world. So we're going to play Herald of Kozilek. Leave man up for Titan's Presence. And we'll end our turn. We can play Ruin Processor now, cheaper, Oracle of Dust, Fathom Feeder. We can basically play everything. I'm kind of tempted to play Fathom Feeder so that we can start digging deeper into our deck. And that is tempting, but just playing a Ruin Processor seems pretty good right now, too. Let's see what he's got for us. Okay, Blight Herder. We're definitely going to be Titan's Presencing that. So I'm glad we got a good target for our Titan's Presence. Still can't swing because Hedron Blade gives his dudes Death Touch, which is pretty annoying. But not the end of the world. Ooh, yeah, well, we'll swing now. We will reveal... which do we want him to know less that we have? I guess we'll do Ruin Processor. The nice thing about our Fathom Feeder is that it can trade with this thing. They'll both have Death Touch and everything. So that's pretty good, but... I think here what I want to do is play... I can play Conduit of Ruin and then Eldrazi Sky Spawner. Actually, yeah, I can. Yeah, I can. I can do it. So that's what we'll do. We'll drop our Conduit. Sky Spawner, another creature that can get in through the air, so we're happy about that. We're not going to use its ability. We have our 1/7 drop in our hand. And then we're going to drop Eldrazi Sky Spawner. I thought I could cast it for even cheaper, but it's the first creature spell I cast, which was actually my Conduit. So not the first spell I cast with Conduit of Ruin in play. So we're going nice and wide here, which is good. He doesn't really have great attacks. You know, he's got a good blocker, which is annoying. So we're going to just be getting in for 2 for a while. Fathom Feeder will definitely be pretty good right now, though. What else did we exile? Oh, yeah, we Blight Herdered. So our Ruin Processor can gain us life. But I may not play it yet. I mean, there's not a real great reason to at this point. I mean, I guess the one thing that's good about it is if his Tide Drifter blocks it, it dies. But he still has the Hedron Blade, so creatures with evasion are kind of better right now. Especially a creature with evasion. Ooh. Well, that's pretty good. Pretty good. That's the second time that card's burnt us in this format. Man. Not cool, but we will survive. At least we didn't have our Fathom Feeder out there, too. Alright, so we're going to play Fathom Feeder. Oh, man. I should have played a different spell first, because it would have been cheaper. But I'm not sure it matters. We're just going to play Ruin Processor for 6. Go up to 23. And we'll be able to start drawing cards and stuff, so if he doesn't have more removal. So, ooh, we may have a counter spell. We still get to gain 5 life either way, which is pretty sweet. Okay. We will not, but we will still gain 5 life. And we'll end our turn. Fathom Feeder. We need to find removal for this Tide Drifter or steal it from him. We can do that. We have, which is removal, I guess. Even better removal. It would make all our guys' butts even bigger, which is nice. Right now, I mean, the only attack we have that's worth anything is our Fathom Feeder, who can also set up Oracle of Dust's looting, which is pretty relevant. He could have a Merc Strider now, which would kind of suck for us. He has a lot of cards. He does. He has a lot of cards in his hand. I wonder what he bounces here. The Conduit probably is the best thing to bounce because... No, he's going for that. That's interesting. I'm happier with him doing that. He may be worried I have another 7-drop I can search for, I guess, but if he was paying attention, I didn't search for anything. So, all right. So we're going to swing. Having mana up to draw cards seems pretty good, especially when I have like board control anyway. So I think I'm just going to play Sludge Crawler and start using Fathom Feeder's ability as much as I can for now. We need blue for it, so we only have the 1 blue source somehow, despite our deck having so much blue. We'll draw into another blue source, which will allow us to do more stuff in the future, so should happen anyway. Seems likely. We have our Oracle, too, who can help us loot. The Fathom Feeder doesn't actually help us loot, but it helps us draw cards. And it, you know, it sets up the Oracle of Dust being able to draw cards, so it's kind of a double thing, double whammy. Sludge Crawler, pretty good right now because we're only a couple lands away from being able to pump it big enough to take down Tide Drifter, you know, is relevant. Is it Merc Strider number 2? That's Fathom. He's Clutch of Currency. Okay, so we're going to go like this. Draw a card. Dampening Pulse. Pretty great right now. Makes the 1/6 not able to actually do damage, which means the Death Touch on it's not going to matter. It'll also... No, that's about it. That's about all it does. So we'll play Skyline Cascade here. Tap his land down. We did draw more blue, which is nice, but... So we'll keep that land tapped, which I think I like. The question is, do I play Fathom Feeder here? With the freaking 1 blue is killing me. We have all of our blue cards. We have 2 blue next turn is the good news. So I think I go with Fathom Feeder again. And we hold on to Dampening Pulse, which will be pretty nice. Next turn we can play our Herald or our Oracle and Dampening Pulse, so I'm pretty cool with that. Forgot how many of those Clutch of Currencies he has. He played at least 2 of them last game, so he's got at least 2, and it's a very good card. We didn't take any of those. I don't know if I saw them and it was like tunnel visioning. I don't think we did. Blue didn't seem super open for the most part. Like, aside from a few things. Okay, Undo Champion, kind of an issue, but not quite an issue yet. I guess he can start swinging for 1 if he wants to. No, he doesn't want to. Okay, Sunken Hollow too. Look at all that blue mana. Okay, I'm liking that. I don't want to use all of it because I'd like to be able to do this, my Fathom Feeder. So I think we play our discounted Oracle of Dust, who's pretty good right now, obviously. And I guess that's it for now. We'll swing with our Fathom Feeder. This game's a lot slower than our first one was. If I played Herald, no, it still would have been the same amount of mana. Well, this would have cost, yeah, it would have cost 4. Here, playing the Herald first there wouldn't have let me keep up enough blue. Wait. What just happened? Oh, I've been thinking it had flying this whole time. I'm on top of things. All right, so we're just going to use the card draw now. We probably want to tap this. Oh, what did I do wrong here? All right, 1, 2. I don't know why I thought the thing had flying. 5. Okay. It did get a, ooh, that's nice. It did get us a lot of value. I mean, it drew us a bunch of cards. So it's pretty nice. We will end our turn there. And it killed a card, so I guess it was a 3-for-1 in the end. Ruination Guide being in play means our Conduit of Ruin can trade with the Tide Drifter. We need a Sky Spawner. We already have one in the graveyard. We need another one. Way to win in the air. Or a way to steal his Tide Drifter, I guess, would be good too. We still have the Hedron Blade is the problem, but he can now move over to his Ondu Champion and have a pretty effective attacker. Because it can kill any of my creatures. It would die too, though, I guess, is the downside for our opponent. Ooh, Clutch of Currents, huh? We're going to go ahead and loot in response to that. Silent Skimmer, another good way for us to win this game. Dampening Pulse. Are you legit right now? That's the question. You're pretty good. Kind of feel like we've reached a point of the game where the Herald's just not as good. So I think I'm going to lose the Herald, believe it or not. And we get our Oracle back in our hand. Oh, and he made his mountain to 6/7. Kind of glazed over that, didn't I? All right, we're going to take 6. Yeah, that's a problem. Ooh, Barrage Tyrant can solve some problems, though. That's for sure. Okay, what order should we play things in here? I think we play the Tyrant first. We can start hurling stuff at his dome in the very near future. We can like declare blocks and hurl stuff, which is pretty great. We can also use it to kill creatures, which is worth remembering. I think we want Ruination Guide in play more than we want the Skimmer. We can play all of them, but the question is, do I want to? I think we attack now with our Conduit of Ruin. Let him trade his Tide Drifter if that's what he wants to do. If he takes 6, we're happier, I think, but we're okay with the trade. He's taking it. He loves his Tide Drifter, man. Even though I can kill it now just by hurling a creature at it, which is pretty sweet. I think for now I actually just want to play... I mean, we're at enough life that I think it's fine to go Silent Skimmer here. Instead of leaving mana up to hurl something, I think just going wider. We have so many lands. Our opponent does too, which means he's getting close to playing like Breaker of Armies, but he's at so little life, we can actually just throw 2 creatures at him this turn and win, I just realized. And that Demon's Grasp will help us too. So this swings, and we'll definitely... I think we basically swing with everything, and then we can throw 2 creatures at him. Oh, it says another, doesn't it? This will drop him alone, though. This will drop him to 6, so that should be enough to kill him. I can play Dampening Pulse first, but I think being able to hurl 2 creatures... Let's see, 1, 2, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10... So we can play Dampening Pulse first and still have mana left over to hurl 2 creatures. Yes, so that's what we do. This gives it 0 power, so if something goes wrong here, we still he won't be able to trade with that. And these two get smaller too, which is not irrelevant. So, right, spell shrivel. We're not going to pay 4. That much I know. And we swing with everybody. Drops him to 6. If he has removal here, it's going to be harder for us to win, but I think we still probably have it, even in that event. Right, he's blocking there, which is fine. This will drop him to 6, and then we can just hurl Conduit of Ruin at him for the last 6. So, yep, that's what we're going to do. All right. And that should do it. Yeah, he conceded. All right, well, we went 2-1. Deck was pretty good, pretty fun, especially when we got our mana going. Barrage Tyrant ended up being pretty powerful in that game, as did Fathom Feeder, despite my misplay with him. Thanks for